Hey, this is Tom Droege again from Stamp Auction Network, and welcome back to 10 Insider Tips to Buying and Selling Stamps at Auction. We're on tip number 9. This is where we get into the nitty-gritty of bidding strategy. And we're going to start with some basic bidding strategy. I will remind you at the end, we have a number of other videos that go into much more detail, and they give examples and explanations. But let's start with the basics. First, I want you to understand how bids come into the auction house. There are many ways. You get absentee bids. That's the term for bids that are sent to the auction house before the auction is conducted. So they may come in by phone, by fax, by mail, by Stamp Auction Network, etc. Absentee just means the bid is coming in ahead of the auction, and you are authorizing the auctioneer to bid on your behalf. These bids are put on what's called the book. There's something called the auctioneer's book, where all of the absentee bids are written down. They're actually in a physical book or an online book, and as each lot is opened up for sale, the auctioneer uses that information to determine where to start the bid and also to bid as agent for those bids. So that's the book, that's the absentee bids. Now, each lot comes up to the floor for bidding. It's opened up for bidding. At the time that it goes to the podium, you'll get another set of bids coming in. You'll get bids on the internet, you'll get bids from the floor, you'll get bids from the telephone and agents. Each lot is sold one by one to the highest bidder. So your strategy you need to consider here are timing and transparency. Given that very few lots are actually awarded to the book bid, somewhat like 20%, there are limited valid strategies to give your bid to the auction house prior. The only good reason I can really think of to give your bids as an absentee bid is to take advantage of the tie bid. In auctions, the first bid in wins. So if you're confident that the real market value on something is $200 and that no one will bid more or less than that, then place your bid absentee. That would be a good strategy. You will win the lot for $200 if there are no other bidders and there are other tie bidders. But bear in mind that that limits your ability to get it at a lower price. For in that case, where the auctioneer is representing the consignor and the lot's market value is really $200 and there's no other bidders, it's going to very likely be sold to you for $200. So now let's talk more about what happens when the lot is opened up for bidding. If there's bids on the book, the lot will open at an increment over the underbidder, or sometimes a few increments below the high bidder, so that the absentee bidder will break the tie if it gets to their high bid. Auction houses all do this differently and often take different approaches on different lots, all depending on their knowledge of the market, the demand for the item, and the number of other subjective considerations. For instance, if they have a bid for $2,000 and an underbid for $1,000, and they know the item will sell for more than $2,000, very few are going to open it up at $1,100 and waste everyone's time running it up to where the floor takes over. You do see this happen, but at some point it just starts wasting time and they stop doing it. Now, most lots, as I said before, are sold one by one, taking live bids from the internet floor, the phones, and agents. The book usually does operate to determine where the bidding starts, but what if there's no book bid? So this is the consideration. Like, as much as you can, if you take the book bid out of consideration, the auctioneer is at a bit of a disadvantage, as they don't know for sure where they can sell the lot. They can risk starting it too low and selling it below market values if the bidder doesn't appear, and they can risk starting it too high and it doesn't sell. So those are some considerations. And by the way, sniping is not a strategy. It's annoying and unprofessional. In a live auction consideration, there is no sniping. If you place a bid at the last second, it just holds the lot open more time. So please don't do that. Don't think you're doing that. It just helps to get your bids into the system as quick as possible and let things go on. But those are some considerations why or why not to give your bids to the auction house. We go into them in much more detail. I'll show you here just a second. I just flipped back to Stamp Auction Network, and if you go over to the help and you go to help with the site, instructional videos, you'll see that under the Stamp Auction Network Getting Started videos right here, there are some good basic live bidding, unattended live bidding explained. This is where we explain to you how you can combine both the power of placing your bids ahead of time but having them executed live, and the advantage that you have there. It's called Stamp Auction Network Unattended Live Bidding. But go ahead and take a look at these videos for more information on the concept of bidding strategy and theory. Thanks for your time. We'll be back with one more video on your 10 tips. Talk to you soon.